not tomorrow, I don't know why I said tomorrow. I'm needing to go ahead and do one of my YouTube videos, but I haven't gotten to it yet. I don't remember what I was trying to say at this point in time, but I'm excited about recording this video about the importance of stories, storytelling, the stories we tell ourselves. And I'm excited about it because the last several weeks, maybe a couple months, couple months since I started working full-time on Cambly and being in the house, a lot of things have impacted my life experience in an interesting ways, but I've been thinking a lot about communication and stories and the way that they are presented and the way that we perceive them and our experience of reality as a result. So I am excited to talk about it right now, even though I am not necessarily set up or presenting myself the way that I would want to when officially doing the video, but just to get some thoughts out there, I thought I would go ahead and start. So the concept is an idea that I think I came across on Instagram, a YouTube commercial ad where someone was mentioning the fact that we need stories. Well, prior to seeing that ad, I'd also heard Brene Brown talk about an instance where she was, I believe, upset with her husband, and she learned a technique of communication where she starts by saying, the story I'm telling myself is, so that the other person receiving the information does not have to take a defensive stance, because they realize that you are taking ownership for what could potentially be a distorted perception of the other person. So with those two instances in mind, mixed up with my my own thoughts and personal experiences, I'm just realizing the impact that stories have on reality, or the fact that we use stories in order to make sense of reality. Whether those stories are true to what is happening in reality or not does not determine the fact that we use them. It's not about the truth of the stories. As much as we would love to say that it is about the truth, it's really not about the truth. It's just about the experience of a story to follow. For some reason, the human mind, we need stories. We have memories. The only reason why we have a sense of self is because of the memories that we have. What are memories? Stories of times, of things that happened. Without those stories, without those memories, we don't really have any context for who we are and how we should show up in the world, which that's pretty trippy. You mean to tell me that I'm just storing memories and then operating based off those memories? And it's a really complex, right? Because there's emotions attached to the stories. It's very personal. The memories are personal. The stories are personal. It's not just information, but it is just information. The reason why I have been recently obsessing over the idea of stories, I can't remember the exact reason that I've been kind of obsessing over it, but in recent weeks, in being a little bit too immersed in what's happening in media, what's happening in politics, what's happening in our nation, and consuming a lot of media and honestly feeling just like overwhelmed by it, and I'm not having a good time. I'm having even less of a good time than I've had in the past of using social media, of consuming content, of looking for information, and it's just too much. It's too overwhelming. Information is important. It helps us to build competency and it helps us to live our lives well, but sometimes it feels harmful. Sometimes it just feels more harmful than it does beneficial and helpful, you know? So, but the stuff of stories is so interesting to me that, you know, we simply need a story and then we live by it. Or, okay, I think I remember now. I was journaling, and one of the recent videos that I've made was about journaling and how it's changed my life, how it's important to me and really impacts my mental health. And one benefit of journaling that I mentioned was the fact that if I'm having a particularly down day, I can journal and shift the mood, shift my perspective. And I think I was realizing that it was about the story that I was telling myself. It was about the story. It was about my perspective of a story, of an experience. And there's so much power in turning your perspective and telling yourself a different story. You know, a lot of the emotions we feel are because of the stories that we tell ourselves. The stories that we tell ourselves is based on our perception, our observation of something. Sometimes when we're observing things, we read into it. We add things that are not there, as opposed to just observing and just looking at the facts of a situation. We fill in the gaps. We add plot. Because we need stories to make things make sense, for us to be able to logically follow something. We need a clear story. So if we're presented information, we fill in the areas where that information is not obvious or presented to us. And we do it so quickly that we don't even realize we're doing it. And this is connecting to Brene Brown's idea about the stories that we tell ourselves, which can lead to arguments because of misunderstanding. So when journaling, I think I analyze myself, I analyze my thoughts and emotions. And sometimes the analysis that I come to, it could be entirely made up, or it could be very true. I don't know. There's no way for me to actually know. But the point I'm making right now is just that when I do that, I get a sense of relief because I feel that I'm able to get control in the situation. I'm able to make sense of what's happening to me, you know? In the video I made about journaling, it's like I mentioned that I get to go behind the scenes and observe something that may be impacting me that I didn't realize was impacting me. But sometimes in those moments when I acknowledge the things that are impacting me could be entirely made up. Maybe it's rooted in some sort of truth, but I really have no proof. I really have no proof of what I'm coming to, what I conclude as being reality, as being truth. The reason why I have no proof is because it's all about perception. It's all about the thoughts in my mind. It's all about the story that I've been telling myself. So it's hard to pinpoint the exact issues and the exact pain points that cause certain behaviors or emotions. But I think the relief comes in the story, you know, The real relief comes in the story that I'm able to, because if it fits in a story, then it can fit in my mind. And if it can fit in my mind, then I can solve it. And what do I want as a human being? Control. Apparently, I want control. And this bleeds into another idea. The reason, the desire for control. The desire for control. I was journaling the other day, and I think I came to the conclusion that that I don't really have control. That nobody has control. We are obsessed with the illusion of having control, but no one can actually have control because, well, I mean, if you start with just the idea of existing to begin with, you came into this world as an innocent and vulnerable creature that relied on and didn't even realize you were relying on, you were sustained by, did the lights just go out or did I blink? I'm freaking out. Okay, anyways. The point is, I did not sign a document. I did not raise my hand. I did not have any form of participation when it came to deciding whether or not I wanted to join this earth. No, I simply appeared and that was that. I didn't choose the family I wanted to be a part of. I didn't choose the body that I would exist in. Nothing. All of the things. That's a lot of moving parts that I had no say in whatsoever. So therefore, there's no possible way that I could say I have any control, at all. What I do have is creativity. What I do have is creativity. And I think that creativity gets convoluted with control. I think creativity gets convoluted with control, but I also think that we crave control because we lack awareness or we lack competency about the human experience or whatever situation that we find ourselves in. The moments when we most desire control are probably the situations where we feel that we have no control. But we feel we have no control because we lack information. We lack competency. The more competent you feel, the more control you feel you have in a given situation or scenario. However, because we do not have control, because we do not have control, reality is that we have to acknowledge we have the opportunity to express creativity and collaboration with life, with others. There's a lot of tools that humans have created that allow us to feel we have control. We do not have control. We have creativity and we have the ability to collaborate. Now, when you use creativity and collaboration, or you can't really call it collaboration, creativity and collaboration without empathy, that's abuse. And that's what we kind of label as someone who is controlling, someone who is trying to assert their power, influence, strength, regardless of being accepted or agreed to. It's a lot of thoughts and ideas there. But I think that they're interesting to think about because that informs, what my outlook on life will be. It informs what stories I will tell myself. It informs the level of awareness I have about the stories being told all around me by all people. It informs the way that I present myself to the world and the way that I observe the world. If I recognize that this is all one big story and we all collaborate and we all create here. No one is actually in control. We simply either believe the illusion, crave the illusion, participate in it, but it doesn't actually exist. Especially when you think about how fragile and vulnerable our bodies are. You know, Serena said that to me one time. It reminds you just how out of control you are. When your body like gets sick and there's nothing you can do except wait it out, you are at the mercy of your body's ability to heal you and to sustain you. You know, like, yeah. So, and the last thing that I'll say is a thought that just came to mind about craving control. I think that there's many reasons why someone would crave control. One of which could be that you desire to feel safe and secure. Safety and security is a fundamental need, you know, for living, for thriving. And so it's very normal, very healthy to desire safety and security. But I think, you know, it gets out of hand when you find yourself, you know, if you've found yourself having experienced being out of control, you know, now you are fighting to the death with anxiety and hoping that you get control in the end. That, I guess this last thought is a little bit less thought through and a little bit more half-baked, but those are the ideas that are swirling in my mind at the moment, and I just kind of wanted to let them out. That was a whole 16-minute video already, so I don't know, maybe I will share this one. Maybe I will use this video and just make another one. I don't know. Let's see.